Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we really try to unpack fascinating topics and deliver those crucial insights straight to you. Today, we're diving in, maybe fork first, you could say, into a truly rich subject, Southern cuisine, our guide. It's Jean Anderson's amazing book, A Love Affair with Southern Cooking, Recipes and Recollections. And, you know, it's much more than just recipes. It's really a journey. History, culture, personal stories. It brings the food to life.
Absolutely. And our mission for you, the listener, is to help you get quickly informed on, well, this really rich tapestry of Southern food. We want to uncover some surprising origins, maybe, and those traditions that just endure. Jean Anderson's work, it's masterful. It blends memories, detailed recipes, incredible historical context. Yeah, it's an exploration that invites us to connect really with the roots of Southern culture.
Right.
Understanding not just what the dishes are, but why they're so significant, the stories behind them.
It really is a personal journey, and that feels like a great place to start. Jean Anderson's own connection, you know. Like in the foreword, Sarah Moulton calls Jean a New York thing friend.
Right, meaning her food world felt pretty separate from Southern cooking at first.
Exactly. And Sarah talks about her first tastes of things like Sally Lunn, Hush Puppies, Hop and John.
Yeah.
Noting the wonderfully evocative names and the stories that came with them.
A whole different world from her Midwestern background, like roast lamb versus country ham.
Totally different. Boston brown bread versus cornbread. But here's the kicker. Jean Anderson's own background. She grew up with a Yankee mother, Illinois, New England cooking, even like Austrian dishes, beef heart, tongue.
Wow, okay.
Yet Jean says she yearned for the pork chops, fried chicken, barbecue, and sausages my friend's mothers served.
That's fascinating. It really shows how powerful that pull of regional food can be, even if it's not what you grew up eating day to day.
Yeah.
And that whole personal story, that yearning and discovering, it connects so well to this bigger idea of culinary identity. It shows how our own experiences, even if we start outside a tradition, can lead to this really deep appreciation. Anderson spent, as she puts it, a lifetime learning to cook them as Southerners seem almost genetically programmed to do, which just underlines that powerful cultural draw, you know? And for you listening, it kind of prompts the question. How do your own childhood food memories, maybe totally different from this, how do they shape what you explore now?
That's a great point to reflect on.
Yeah.
Speaking of deep roots, let's get into the actual foundations, the ingredients, the pantry staples, the produce that really define Southern cooking. Where should we start?
Okay, well, you absolutely have to begin with white lily flour.
Right.
It started way back, 1896, and it just took off because it was so incredibly fine, so soft.
And why was that so important?
Well, that fine texture means less gluten development, and that is the key to those famously light, tender biscuits and cakes the South is known for. Ah, okay. So it wasn't just any flour.
No, not at all. It was almost engineered for that specific regional style. It made a huge difference.
Okay, so white lily. What else is essential in that Southern pantry?
Well, you can't ignore stone-ground cornmeal and lard.
Lard, interesting.
Yeah, the book calls it the Southern shortening of choice, especially for getting those really extra flaky biscuits.
Right.
And it specifically mentions you need it for authentic hush puppies.
So that reliance on animal fats, that connects back to the agricultural history.
Exactly. Agriculture, resourcefulness, making use of what was available. Lard was key.
Makes total sense. Okay, moving from the pantry to the garden, maybe. What about produce? Is there one vegetable that just screams Southern icon?
Oh, absolutely. Vidalia onions.
Ah, yes.
Georgia's America's favorite sweet onion. They actually came from just one area, Toombs County.
Now it's the official state vegetable. But what's really cool is how they got that way. It's the specific soil there, low in sulfur. That's what gives them that unique, mild sweetness. Jean Anderson talks about being amazed when she first tasted them in New York back in the mid-70s.
It's a great example of terroir, right? How the place itself shapes the food.
Precisely. And another vegetable with really deep Southern roots, and global ones too, is okra.
Okra, okay.
Yeah.
Divisive sometimes.
Yeah, can be. But its name, Nkrumah, traces back to the Twi language in Africa, so that tells you something about its journey.
Right, its heritage.
Yeah, it's used everywhere, especially in gumbos, obviously. But the book has this funny little story. Jean Anderson's dad apparently hated it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But then her niece Kim makes this simple New South okra that sounds delicious. It kind of shows how things change, you know, how we prepare and see these classic ingredients can evolve over generations.
That's true. Okay, so beyond veggies, what about iconic meats?
Well, you have to talk about country ham.
Definitely. Smithfield comes to mind.
Smithfield, exactly, and others too. What makes them special is the dry cure. It's this process. Heavily salted, sometimes spiced, then aged for months, even years. No refrigeration needed originally.
Right. Preservation was key.
Totally. And it makes them completely different from what the book calls city hams, which are usually wet cured or smoked differently. Think about Colonel Bill Newsom's aged Kentucky country hams. They say they've been using the same family recipe since 1796.
Wow, since 1796. That's incredible history right there.
Isn't it? And you can't mention country ham without its classic partner.
Red-eye gravy.
You got it.
Yeah.
Made with the ham drippings and coffee.
Coffee.
Right?
Right. It sounds odd, but it works.
It does. And it's just another example of using every last bit, Nothing wasted.
Yeah. It's so clear these ingredients aren't just stuff you cook with. They're like living history. Adaptation, ingenuity, cultural blending. It's all in there.
That's a perfect way to put it. They are living testaments.
Okay, so from those core ingredients, let's shift to some of the dishes themselves. The really storied ones, the legends. Many have such intriguing names, don't they?
They really do. Let's start with biscuits. We mentioned white lily flour. The book has great stories, like how Hottens got their name during World War II from a hostess talking to a Yankee lieutenant.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is the variety. You've got angel biscuits.
Angel biscuits. They sound light.
Exactly. Celestial, the book calls them. And virtually foolproof because they use 3 leavening agents. Yeast, baking powder, and baking soda.
3. Wow. That guarantees lightness, I guess.
Pretty much, but then you contrast that with beaten biscuits.
Oh, I've heard of those. Sounds like work.
A lot of work. Historically, you needed, quote, a faithful cook with a strong arm, or even a special machine. They were beaten hundreds of times to get this very crisp, almost cracker-like texture.
So different from the fluffy angel biscuits.
Completely. It shows the range, right? Different techniques, different outcomes, maybe different occasions, too.
Absolutely. Okay, another giant of Southern cooking. Gumbo.
Gumbo. Such a fascinating dish. The book calls it a spicy Creole Cajun stew, a real melding of cultures.
4 cultures, it says.
Yes. And the name itself has African roots. The preparation really showcases that blending. And there's this great piece of advice from a Miss Tudy Gerard.
Let me guess. About the roux.
You know it. Don't rush your roux.
Right. That base of fat and flour is everything.
Everything. It has to cook slowly until it's this deep, rich brown color, like iron rust, the book says. Takes at least 30 minutes.
Patience is key.
Absolutely. It underscores the time and care that goes into these traditional dishes. It's not fast food.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Okay, what about a dish with a bit of a location controversy? Brunswick stew.
Yes, the great Brunswick stew debate, Virginia versus Georgia.
Who claims what?
Virginia says 1828, Georgia says 1898, and originally it sounds rustic.
Rustic.
A porgy muddle of squirrels, onions, and stale bread.
Squirrels. Okay, definitely rustic.
Right, but what's cool is seeing how it evolved from that very basic use what you have dish to something like Aunt Annie Poole's version for family reunions made with beef and chicken.
So it adapted over time.
Yeah.
Based on ingredients, tastes.
Exactly. It's a perfect snapshot of how recipes change but keep their core identity.
Let's zoom in on a specific place and a specific creation. The hot brown.
The legendary hot brown, Louisville, the Brown Hotel.
Swanky place, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Very swanky, the 1920s. So people would be dancing late, get hungry.
Naturally.
And Chef Fred Schmidt in 1923 comes up with this. An open-faced turkey sandwich smothered in this bubbling cheese sauce, broil.
Sounds incredible and very rich.
Oh, yeah. Turkey, bacon, Mornay sauce. It was designed to be satisfying after a night out.
Yeah.
And it just stuck. Became the Louisville dish.
It's amazing how one chef, one moment, can create something so enduring. It really speaks to that resilience and adaptability in Southern food culture, doesn't it? These traditions just last.
They really do. And that ingenuity extends beyond the kitchen stove, too. Think about some of the iconic Southern brands.
Oh, like Coca-Cola.
Exactly. Started in Atlanta, 1886, John Pemberton, a pharmacist, creates it as a nerve tonic.
A tonic. Right, I heard that.
Yeah. Then Asa Candler takes over, markets it aggressively, makes it America's bold-faced brand. You get the iconic Contour bottle by 1916.
Didn't it originally have...
Cocaine, yes, trace amounts. That was removed around the turn of the century because of bad press.
Wow. quite a history for a soft drink.
It really is. Shows how products evolve with social changes, economic forces. It's not just about taste.
What a journey indeed. Okay, let's move towards the end of the meal. The sweet stuff.
Okay.
And also, maybe something we don't think about as much now. Food preservation.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that Southerners have this reputation, maybe a stereotype, for being so sweet on desserts?
Well, there are a few interlocking reasons, according to Anderson. One big one is history. Before refrigeration, sugar was a primary way to preserve fruit.
Ah, practical preservation.
Exactly. Plus, you had local sugarcane production in parts of the South. And then there's the English heritage, which has a strong tradition of sweet puddings, cakes, pies.
So necessity, local resources, and cultural background all mixed together.
Pretty much. The book even has this interesting tidbit about chess pie, like lemon chess pie.
Yeah.
The term chess might actually be a corruption of cheese, maybe referring to an early style of lemon curd that resembled cheese.
Huh. Never knew that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are some of those classic Southern desserts the book highlights?
Oh, there's some real icons, like Lady Baltimore cake.
Heard of it? Sounds very elegant.
It is. It got famous from an Owen Wister novel in 1906, but it's said to have been created by Alicia Rhett Mayberry. It has this distinct fruit and nut filling and often a boiled icing or meringue frosting.
Right. And another famous cake.
Lane cake, that's an Alabama original from Emma Rylander Lane. It won a prize, hence sometimes being called prize cake. It's known for its layers and this very rich bourbon-soaked raisin filling.
Bourbon-soaked. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds potent.
Can be. But these aren't just recipes, you see. They're tied to people, places, moments in time. Real American classics born in the South.
It really drives home that point, doesn't it? Simple recipes holding so much social history, so much ingenuity.
Absolutely. Generations of resourcefulness.
And speaking of resourcefulness, let's talk about food preservation. You mentioned sugar.
Right. Pickling, canning, drying. These were absolutely critical skills in the South, especially, as the book says, right up until World War II.
Why particularly, then?
Well, think about the climate, long, hot growing season, but also heat that could spoil food quickly, and the agricultural lifestyle. You had big harvests, and you had to preserve that bounty to last through the leaner times.
It wasn't just a hobby, it was survival.
Absolutely. It was central to running a household. Anderson even shares this funny story about herself trying to demonstrate canning on TV, and well, she ended up canning peach pits instead of peaches.
Oh, no. Chuckles.
Yeah, it shows there was a real skill to it, a learning curve.
And who helped people learn these skills?
Institutions like the home demonstration clubs were vital. They spread knowledge about canning, nutrition, home economics, and community cookbooks. Anderson loves those. She says they offer regional flavor, a sense of time and place. They captured and shared those essential preservation techniques and recipes.
That's fascinating. And how has that tradition changed now? People still pickle and can, right?
They do. But the motivation is often different. With farmers markets booming again, there's this renewed interest. But now it's often described as being done for fun or to win blue ribbons at the state fair.
Right. Less out of absolute necessity.
Exactly. It shows that cycle, doesn't it? How practical skills from the past become cherished traditions, maybe even hobbies in the present. That deep connection to the land and its bounty endures.
It really does. And that feels like a good place to bring our deep dive into a love affair with Southern cooking towards its close. We've really covered a lot. The incredible depth, the delicious diversity.
Yeah.
Jean Anderson's book, it just masterfully weaves the personal with the historical. It gives us such a rich feel for this culinary landscape.
It really does. Southern food, when you look at it this way, it isn't just a list of recipes. It's a living story. It's full of these unexpected links, historical ingenuity, deep personal journeys. It teaches us so much about adapting, about community, about how food really shapes who we are. So maybe the thought to leave you with is this. As you go about your own cooking, or maybe browse your local market, what's an ingredient from your region? Maybe something forgotten or just overlooked. Could it hold a rich history too? A story just waiting for you to uncover and maybe even, reinvent in your own kitchen?
That is a fantastic question to ponder, something to definitely chew on. Thank you so much for joining us on this really flavorful deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep tasting, and keep uncovering those amazing food stories.